NVIDIA just got slammed yet again by the DOJ by subpoena due to this AI antitrust probe that is continuing. And this is really bad for NVIDIA and NVIDIA investors.
Shares getting slammed in the regular session, now getting dinged again in overtime after Bloomberg reported the company received a DOJ subpoena in an escalating antitrust investigation. Joining us now on the Newsline is Patrick Moorhead from More Insights and Strategy. Pat, good to have you. So what do you make of this antitrust stuff with NVIDIA? I mean, it seems they're clearly the product leader in AI, and so they're winning fair and square. What's to investigate?
Yes, this is completely expected, and NVIDIA has over 90% of the data center GPU market share. When you combine that with the Lina Khan administration, and I would say the new rules for what can be proved as being a monopolist, and that is, it's not what you have done, it's what you might do. I like to call that pre-crime, which is pretty new for the past 6 or 7 years out there.
Okay, pre-crime, but eventually a judge is going to have to weigh in, I imagine. At least, you know, with the U.S., it seems like being a monopoly isn't illegal. Abusing monopoly power is, right?
That's exactly right, and that gets into the new rules. I mean, if you look at 10 years ago, you had to show damages to consumers, to companies, to innovations, and now it has shifted over the past decade to what you might do. It'd be very hard to look back at the marketplace, at history, and demonstrate where NVIDIA has abused its monopolistic powers, because that history really doesn't exist here.
Okay, let me sneak in at least one about Intel here in this Lunar Lake launch. I'm seeing some surprise out there about the stats that Intel was rolling out on how this chip performance for thin and light laptops in AI and with battery life overall stacks up versus what AMD and Qualcomm have said. How did you feel about it?
So Intel is going to win at some of those metrics. It's going to lose at some of those metrics. Intel showed the ones that it won on today, and it will be until, I would say, the end of September before we have some independent numbers. But categorically, they have improved their lot in the notebook life against Qualcomm and Intel. And sometimes we forget, given the challenges Intel has had and what it looks like shooting itself in the foot many times, it still has 80% market share in the PC market.
And this wouldn't be bad, I imagine, for margins and for revenue if they can get that client business a win. I guess we'll see how your tests and those of others shape up when we get those laptops shipped at the end of this month. Pat Moorhead, thank you.
Not very good news. NVIDIA being slapped by the DOJ with another subpoena into the AI antitrust probe. And this is not good. 24-hour window, the stock dropped over 15%, over $15, $16 down in a 24-hour window. Look, before we dive into this, and we're going to get to the bottom of NVIDIA in this video, what's going on and why you should not worry. Everything's going to be okay. Before we do that, I have huge news. This Friday, I am launching my free webinar. That's right. This Friday, September 6th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific, my free webinar. In this webinar, you are going to learn things you never thought possible. I want to show you guys what my students in the Discord are experiencing and why they're saying this is the best thing they've ever done in their financial journey to gain knowledge, profits, and grow their time, financial, and location freedom. I'm going to show you my unique way of teaching, and I guarantee you're going to learn more in the 1 hour that you spend with me on this free webinar than you have learned anywhere else. I am willing to bet that when you leave this webinar, you are going to be amazed at the things you never thought possible. I have a huge announcement during this webinar. You don't want to miss it. Very limited spots. So be sure to click the link below to sign up, then check your spam folder in your inbox. Make sure you're signed up. Like I said, very limited spots. Listen, I was bankrupt 5 years ago, and instead of talking about the things I can do and the things I can buy, the most important thing is time with your family. I was able to retire at 39 2 years ago. And now my children get to spend all their time with me, which is the most important thing about being a dad and a family man.
Right, son, you ready to go?
Let's go. You got your iPad and everything you need. You know, financial freedom wasn't easy, that's for sure. So let me ask you a question, buddy.
Yeah.
How do you like riding in a brand new car like this, going to school and summer camp?
Good.
You like it?
I like it.
How comfortable is it? How do you like riding your dirt bikes and having go-karts and swimming pools and video games and your own video gaming setup? How do you like all that stuff?
A lot, because I get to play video games, dirt bikes, a pool.
And having a really big house in the country with lots of room. Yeah?
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
And most importantly, how much do you like the fact that Daddy doesn't have to go to work? I get to be with you every day.
We used to have to go to work.
I know. I used to have to go to work all the time.
Don't.
Now I don't.
That's the good thing.
Yeah. Before the pandemic, Daddy used to have to go to work all the time. And now we're just together having fun every day with no stress, right?
Yep.
If you want to retire and achieve financial freedom and you're struggling in the market, this webinar will help you greatly. If you want one-on-one coaching, full training course, and Discord, you guys can set up at any time at investwithcorey.com, right there on the screen or in the information box below. But if you really want to see what I'm all about, I will see you on the webinar Friday, September 6th at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Limited spots. Do not miss this opportunity. So you see, the stock has already dropped like 16% in one day, which is massive. The market's already pulling back. A lot of the S&P 500's drop is due to NVDA and AMD and the tech sector and chip sector being lackluster over the past couple of weeks, especially with NVIDIA's earnings not doing too well because they didn't beat them as much as Wall Street had expected. Not only that, their guidance for the third quarter was fairly soft and profits were narrowing and tightening up as there was delays with their Blackwell chips that they had to fix. However, NVIDIA did set guidance for the fourth quarter of 2024 as being very strong, and when they take when Blackwell is ready and things are back on par by the fourth quarter, they expect earnings to beat. And when the Blackwell chips are ready to go and we approach quarter four, they expect things to be a lot better. So quarter four's earnings are going to blow it out of the water, in my opinion. This is a really long play with NVIDIA. This is a rough time to be in NVIDIA. Dollar cost averaging is really your only friend here, as I see NVIDIA kind of trekking along the 100 to 108 range for several weeks in September. If the rates get cut and PMI services data is good this Thursday and the employment rate is balanced nicely and the rates get cut going forward like they should and everything looks good, which is a lot of ifs, then NVIDIA should recover for the most part, not fully, but I would expect us to be somewhere in the 110 to 115 range again, working our way upwards. But really, the DOJ probe is not good. It's not helping matters, and it's putting a lot of pressure on institutions and hedge funds as well as private investors because of the fear surrounding NVIDIA. Personally, I think this fear is nonsense. I mean, they're doing their due diligence. The company is profitable. Their year over year and quarter over quarter growth is amazing. They're taking control of the AI tech sector and overall AI and hardware and data centers. They're the first ones to do it. I don't really think they're breaking any laws by doing this. I really don't. I think this is what happens when you have a company that gets there first and starts doing things first. That's the whole reason. First. So I'm there. I'm the first one to do it and I'm successful, but because nobody else can catch up because I was the first one to do it, I suffer. That makes no sense, and it goes against everything that capitalism stands for. To capitalize. They're the first ones there to do it, get it done, create it, grow it exponentially, and then now they got antitrust probes being slapped on them left and right. Let's go ahead and read some of the news that's going on with NVIDIA right now, and then we'll look at the chart technicals and some of the financials and try to figure out what's going on and what we should do going forward with NVIDIA. The Justice Department reportedly has issued subpoenas to NVIDIA and other companies as it probes concerns into the AI chip giant is exploiting its dominance in AI. NVIDIA stock fell slightly overnight and plunged in Tuesday's regular session and overnight hours. The DOJ, which previously sent questionnaires, has not sent subpoenas requiring that NVIDIA and other other recipients provide information, Bloomberg reported Tuesday. It's another move towards formal antitrust complaint. Antitrust officials worry that NVIDIA is making it hard for customers to switch to rival suppliers and punish those that don't only use its AI chips. The DOJ probe includes NVIDIA's planned acquisition of Run AI, which makes software for managing AI computing. The stock plunged 9.5% to $108 and another 3 to 4% to $104 in the after-hours session. And into the overnight, things just didn't improve at all. NVIDIA has suffered its biggest one-day loss in market capitalization, over $280 billion in value shed completely. The Justice Department had previously issued non-binding questionnaires to NVIDIA to seek further information. The subpoena marks an escalation in this process, as the documents legally oblige recipients to hand over information and could mean the government is gearing up to issue a formal complaint against the chipmaker. This is not good. To me, it seems like a witch hunt. Antitrust officials from the U.S. government are worried that NVIDIA is making it more difficult for businesses and people to switch to other AI companies or other computing chip providers, and that maybe they're penalizing buyers that don't exclusively use its own chips. People familiar with this matter understand what's going on. As part of its investigation into NVIDIA, the DOJ officials have contacted other tech firms, including NVIDIA's largest investor, Microsoft, for further information. NVIDIA wins on merit, as reflected in our benchmark results and value to customers, who can choose whatever solution is best for them, the company said in an emailed statement to Bloomberg. NVIDIA's CEO said that he grants priority to customers who utilize NVIDIA's products in a ready-to-go data centers, which he says is designed to prevent stockpiling and speed up the installation of his company's tech. Founded in 1993, NVIDIA has rapidly soared to become the world's largest manufacturer of chips. Facilitating AI-specific infrastructure has seen it massively outperform its rival chip makers. Look, I really wouldn't be worried about NVIDIA long-term. As we go through September, PMI data, interest rate cuts, it's going to play a big factor. PMI data comes out this Thursday on services, which should be pretty good. And then we've got the jobs report and employment on Friday. We don't want employment to grow too drastically, because if this happens, then the feds won't cut rates more than once, which means the stock market could suffer because of that. We also don't want jobs being added to be lower, because then even though the feds are going to cut the interest rates even more aggressively, that's also not good, because that induces inflation. So the jobs report's got to be pretty narrow. It's got to be slightly improved, jobs added, but not too much to the point where the feds won't cut more rates. NVIDIA's third quarter guidance was pretty good, but not what we expected. Plus, we got the DOJ issue going on. This DOJ issue needs to go away or wrap up or just be done with completely, and the rates need to get cut. These two things happen. NVIDIA is back on its way to 125 by the end of September, going into October. If third quarter earnings beats the estimates again consistently, then NVIDIA will do well. Quarter four is where NVIDIA is going to soar. The stock price is going to jump drastically, in my opinion, going through November and December, and January before earnings, it's going to run. My prediction for NVIDIA is by January, February, when they report quarter four earnings for 24, NVIDIA could soar up to 140 or 150 relatively easily, in my opinion, but I predict a bare minimum price of 125 to 135 for January, probably higher, quite honestly. I see us getting back to 120 or 125 by mid-October or beginning of October, as long as the rates get cut. PMI data is good. Job reports are good. FOMC meetings are good. And the DOJ just gives up this witch hunt on NVIDIA, which they need to do. But I highly recommend dollar cost averaging on the stock. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. Let's say you bought 100 shares at 119 like I did. Then you buy another 100 shares at 104. And worst case, you buy another 100 shares at, let's say, 99 when it drops again. And the price is now at 99. Your average cost is 107. You're good. NVIDIA is definitely going to go above 107 in the next month. Its fair value is between 105 and 115. So if you dollar cost average, even as high as I got into NVIDIA, then you're really in good shape. 300 shares at 107. All the price has to do is go up to 110, which is not that far from where it is right now. And you're going to be up $1,000 profit. Then you can get out, or you can hold, which is really good because NVIDIA runs to 140. Well, now you're making $33 a share at 300 shares. This is like $10,000 profit in 4 months. So you are turning like $30,000 worth of capital into $40,000. This is a 25% return in 4 or 5 months. This is incredible. That's over 50% per year on a stock that's growth is not over yet. The AI run is not over. We're only about halfway through. This is going to be big. The pullback's happening right now. The antitrust probe's happening into the AI big chip manufacturers, specifically NVIDIA. And we've got a lot of fear due to September not being a good month, rate cuts, PMI data, possible inflation, which is now starting to dial back quite a bit. We also have the election. There's a lot going on. But after the election, after the rate cuts, everything settles down going into Christmas and the New Year, this thing is going to fly. So if you can get your average cost down to $105 or $107 or less, you are going to be sitting pretty come January. This is not something I would worry about. I tell you guys this all the time. They want to shake you out of your shares. Don't allow it to happen, because NVIDIA is ultimately the best AI play in the market right now. Thanks so much, guys, for being here. Hey, listen, free webinar this Friday, September 6th, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. I'm going to show you guys things you never thought possible, and I guarantee you will learn more in this hour with me than you will anywhere else. I'm going to teach you things, like I said, that you never would have thought possible. I have a unique way of teaching. I'm going to show you what all my students are raving about in the Discord, and that you guys have a taste of exactly what I am doing to help people better their lives. Huge announcement during this webinar. Very limited spots remain. When they're gone, they're gone. Sign up. Link is below. Check your email, check your spam folder, make sure you're signed up, and I will see you there. Until the next video, guys, I picked out another one for you. It's right there. Click it. I'll see you over there. I'm in multiple places at the exact same time. Remember, fam, till the next video, let's grow our wealth together. Take care, guys.